faked it. Also, here's another reason. If you watch the post-flight press conference, and again, I'm not saying that this is actually what's happening, but it seems completely like they're full of shit. When they come back, it seems like they're lying and they're nervous, and they ask them about the stars, and again, I'm not on the camp that they faked it, but there was Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins. And Michael Collins, they asked him about stars, and in the press conference, he's like, I don't recall seeing any stars. Problem with that is, like, Michael Collins never left the lunar module. He wasn't supposed to be one of the guys that was on the surface of the moon. Mm-hmm. He was up in the craft that was circling, that was in orbit around the moon. And then later, when he wrote a book about it, he talked about how magnificent the stars looked. So he has inconsistencies. So the hoax people point to that.
The look on their faces, just either scared, shocked, could be crisis actors, just looking down, like they know what they saw but was threatened by the government to keep their mouth shut. The stories from that interview that you see right here, right now, are completely different, and I bet you that they had a whole script ready just in case when they got home. So what I really believe is that the moon landing was 100% real, and that also that the fake moon landing was also 100% real, but just to cover up the big alien series that were found, or the structures that were found, maybe from previous, tribes or anything that there was found up there. And that's just my belief. So both sides are right, and have the people argue if it was real or until there was a new order, or just to keep them busy enough to do more research and what was found up there. There was also a movie that almost everyone forgot called Apollo 18. So the conspiracy theory is that after Apollo 17, there were multiple Apollo missions, and once we stopped at Apollo 17, we just think that it just kept going until something that stopped the missions behind closed doors. It's a scary thing to think about on what is up there, same as the ocean. They say that the moon was put up there by aliens like a space station outpost, and there's also moon conspiracies about it being hollow because the astronauts also heard a ring like a bell when they landed on it. The countries that also landed on the moon seen and heard similar things, that the moon is and just the moon is an ongoing topic on everything you can think of. Nobody has a concrete answer on what it could be, and it's just that people, I feel like that when people can't find the answers, they go straight to religion, or people don't even care and go to.
Jeremy Corbell in Los Angeles. Jeremy, good to see you. This is a huge topic. People debate it all the time. Why do you think there's been an increase, let's say, in sightings in the last year?
Yeah, it is a huge topic, and it should be a huge topic because the sightings have increased in frequency. And this is due to an actual increase of these unidentifieds flying with impunity within our restricted airspace. But also our technologies are getting better in some of our fighter planes, where we're able to track and verify through multi-platforms that these things are real. UFOs are real. They outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform anything we have. So this is a real issue.
I love this story so much. US intelligence agencies are set to release a report next week about UFO incidents. What are you expecting to hear?
Yeah, well, look, fingers crossed that we do get this report next week. It was actually due on Halloween, but that could be internally. They have to put out an unclassified version because the public wants to know. This is a flight safety issue for our aviators, but also this is something that's been with humanity for a long time. So in this report, my highest hopes is there's no more obfuscation and ridicule that really kills the scientific study of what is a very real phenomenon, which is UFOs.
Yeah, right. So there's greater calls for transparency, like you're saying, for UFOs, or UAPs, as now they like to be called. I mean, should this just be, it should just be on the public record, shouldn't it?
And that's exactly what people are doing. And you're right. There is a call for transparency that is beyond anything that I have seen in my generation and in my lifetime. People want to know the truth. They have a duty, in my eyes, to find out the truth. This is a global phenomenon. I get emails from Australia every day with videos. This is something that the public is curious about, rightfully so. It's a vast universe.
Jeremy,
what we're seeing is not our technology.
Have you seen anything, or have you, through this, your website and your discussions with lots of people, have you seen something that has absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, convinced you?
Yeah, it's a cumulative effect of evidence. But certainly, as you see from what I've been able to obtain and release, which is confirmed military footage of UFOs from multi-system platforms, that was something that I put out with my mentor in journalism, George Knapp. Imagine what I can't put out. So there are so many things that have convinced me there's a true mystery here, and there is a physical aspect to it in craft. I don't have the luxury of disbelief.
So, for a long time, people would have thought that this sort of reporting or this sort of investigating was just a bit kooky or a bit of a conspiracy theory. And now these sorts of reports, they sort of vindicate what you're talking about. How does that make you feel?
Right. So the climate has changed in this world when it comes to this topic. I think we've sobered up. We're looking at this now through the eyes of this is actually being picked up with our radar systems by our pilots, by credible people. Sure, there's a sense of vindication for people that have been into this, but much more importantly, we are now facing reality and we're saying who are operating these craft? Where do they come from and what do they want?
I often feel like, especially leaders who probably have access to this information, like apparently Obama had access to this information, or Trump, or Joe Biden, they never say anything, and I don't know why they're not saying anything, or they're just going, guys, it's fine, it's just a few things.
Especially Trump. He said everything else.
I know, he said literally everything else. So are we going to get any closer to confirmation, possibly? I mean, next week is midterms over there, so it might be pushed again, but are we getting any closer to actually finding extraterrestrial life?
Than that. We might be dealing with a natural phenomenon that's been here longer than us. There does seem to be craft, though, and those craft need to be occupied or driven by an intelligence, biological or not. So look, this is the big mystery. This is what we need to find out. It would be a great waste of space if there weren't other beings. But the real question is not, are there aliens or this sort of thing? The real question is, who's visiting here?
What do you think?
I'm going to suspend my judgment until we can get a larger study on this. And everybody in the scientific community should be salivating over this. This is uncharted territory. It's unexplained. This is a new topography, and we are cartographers. This is a whole new world where science can study a phenomenon that could give us a lot of answers that could help a lot of people.
Jeremy, we want to touch base with you when this report comes out again. So thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. As you said, there's a lot of people that cite stuff here in Australia. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, just stay curious about it. It's an important topic. Thank you.
Will do.
Absolutely.
You were telling people since 1989 that there was some sort of hand scanner. There was like a bone scanner, and you tried to describe it. You said you think it took measurements of the bone. There were these pegs. You put your hand on it.
It's a small plate with some pins on it that you could put between your fingers. There's a bright light above it.
The interesting thing is when you walk into the facility, or even to leave, they have a hand reader. I was told that it has to do something where it measures the bright light measures the bones in your finger. They're unique to each person. And it sounds like something out of a TV show, but it's exactly the way it is.
Man, I looked for that kind of thing all over the internet, never found anything. And then all of a sudden this article comes out and it says that at the Nellis Range they were talking about the stealth program. There was indeed this hand scanner that was used in these secret programs, and they just admitted or announced it publicly. And there were some photos, and I just was interested. And so
I never thought I'd see one of these again. But I tried to explain this to people so many times, and they either didn't believe me or say, yeah, I'm sure there is. And there it is. There it is.
It's like a biometric thing for the hands, yeah?
The beginnings of, it wasn't all that advanced back then, but yeah, that's it. I can't believe you found a picture of this. I really can't. This was the scanner used to get in to S4. And I tried to explain this to people so many times, that there was pins in, you stuck your hand, a light above, and it supposedly measured the length of the bones in your hand that, you know, is unique in each individual. It's exactly how it was.